Welcome to Hameen Loyal. This is Eric Grissom.
And I'm Dan Johnson. Eric and I will be rewatching the iconic Twin Peaks from the pilot through the return and everything in between.
If this is your first time watching, or if you're a longtime fan, you can watch along with us as we dive deep into the strange and wonderful world of Twin Peaks.
We live inside a dream.
Today on Meanwhile, we are diving into the second episode of the second season. Dan, this is a coma. Put a pillow on, you're going to be taking a long nap.
Put a pillow on?
Well, you're going to put a pillow on your head, and then you're going to take a nap.
Well, do you lay on it, or do you have the pillow over your face like poor old Jacques Renault?
It's like a pillow that you put between your legs because your tummy hurts. Yeah, it's a pillow sandwich. It's a Jacques Renault special, a Jacques special.
Jacques Tua. All right.
Yeah, no, this is Coma, Dan. Before we get to Coma, we have a Patreon. You could be signing up for our Patreon right now, and I have it set up. You pay a couple dollars, put $1 in, you put $3 in, you put $5 in, but you get the free podcast episodes are now fed into the app. So you get all of the stuff that's free, plus the special, at this time we've recorded the Donahue Talk About. More stuff's coming. And you can also ask us questions on there. There's a chat. It's a freaking party. It's a good time. No, but Dan, I'm not...
You give us money, you help us keep doing the show. It's just going to pay for the hosting so we can keep sending this into your ears.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So Dan, now that that's out of the way and the good people here have already turned us off, and then realized that their life was empty and shallow and they have to get back onto it, let's talk about Coma. Coma came out Saturday, October 6, 1990 at 10 p.m. So now this is the first Saturday at 10 Twin Peaks that we had heard about. If you were a Patreon member, you would have heard us talk about the Donahue episode where they all found out that it was Saturday at 10 and what a little bit of a gut punch that must be. Later on, Lynch had been on David Letterman and he talks about the audience.
Because we feel very strongly that the people who like Twin Peaks are party people. Mm-hmm. They enjoy.
What does that mean exactly?
They are not home on Saturday night.
Oh, I see. They
don't want to be home on Saturday night, and so to have the show on that would be wrong.
Right.
They're out there partying. They're not going to be at home watching Twin Peaks at 10 p.m. Of course, I was, but
I mean, yes.
This is written by Harley Peyton, who we've seen before in season 1, and will go on to write many, many episodes in season 2, and directed by David Lynch.
I've heard of him.
Yep. Now, as I said, this was October 6, 1990, 10 p.m., so what else was on? CBS was running an Oakland A's versus Red Sox game, and NBC was running Carol and Company, which I assume is Carol Burnett and Company, and American Dreamer.
Robert Urich thought he'd never find the right woman till he met Carol Kane.
So I don't know what American Dreamer was, but America wanted American Dreamer, and America wanted Carol and Company, and apparently baseball, because it came in third. Twin Peaks came in third with 14 million viewers.
Still numbers to die for in this day.
That's a whole lot of viewers. Yeah, so 14 million people tuned in. You want to take us into this wonderful Coma? You want to give us the sweet sounds of a little run at Pulaski Theater?
Do you see cream corn on that plate?
Yes.
I requested no cream corn. Do you see cream corn on that plate?
No.
My grandson is studying magic.
That's nice.
Let's start at the Great Northern, Eric. where Cooper discusses Tibetan history over breakfast with Albert, and we learn that Ronette is awake and that Cooper's former agent partner is someone to worry about. Tell me about this little shindig we got going on.
Well, first off, you get the nice barbershop quartet that sort of serenades the entire scene, and it's so calming and relaxing. And while you only see one group of barbershop quartet members, or one quartet, I like to think this is a continuation of the convention staying at the Great Northern that Leslie Linka Glatter had started. But it's just such a really nice background music. The relationship with Cooper and Albert is great. And I feel like in this scene, you're really establishing that they have a history and more so like a friendship. Albert is such a funny character. It's a huge testament, I think, to Harley Peyton's writing. He's very funny. Dialogue that he has. I mean, Harley Peyton probably had the biggest hand in creating Albert. I think like the original concept of Albert came from Frost and Lynch, but this was a character that I think the Albert that we know, I think you can trace back to Harley Peyton. I like just, again, the contrast between Cooper's dream world reality of we're looking for Bob and so many people, no one's really seen him, and then Ronette's going to wake up, and Albert with the has anyone seen Bob on Earth? When they, again, poor Jacques is constantly getting attacked for his girth. And then you get that like sort of Jaws illusion where they're talking about all the things inside of his stomach, like the license plate and Pinocchio, which was kind of cool.
It was fantastic. Cooper genuinely enjoyed that to the point of like, Albert, you made a joke. And he didn't make one joke. He made many jokes in this. Like, absolutely. Sorry to pull you off onto a tangent here, but this relationship, I think you're right. We're showing that they have a history because it's suddenly warmed between them, where it has just been getting progressively more and more tense, especially after Albert socked Harry, or Harry socked Albert in the face. But in this scene, they seem to actually enjoy each other, which is a great turn.
Yeah, and I think like we made mention of that. He works with them, so like there's a reason why he keeps working with them. He's very good at what he does, clearly, and there is the tension that you brought up. But you do get I feel like that's there, that you start to see that coming through. Even going far as like the last episode when Ed's giving his wonderful speech about Nadine and he's recounting the sadness and the guilt prison and all the stuff. And then Albert's doing the thing with the handkerchief, and like if he really hated him, he would have kicked him out. So like there's a certain tolerance to like if you go long enough with these quips and these sort of insults, it becomes just Albert's personality, and then those rough edges start to soften. And I feel like this is just even more of that shape taking form. And knowing where it goes, it's just, you're all in for a wonderful treat. The big thing here is like sort of the new mysterious force in Wyndham Earl. So you hear about his former partner, has now flown the coop. We know that he's in a asylum or a local laughing academy, as Albert points out.
Great line.
Also, this character, Wyndham Earl, named after William Wyndham, who's an actor, and Earl from which was a Bogart character in High Sierra. So Humphrey Bogart, I guess, played someone. I didn't see High Sierra, but you can thank Harley Peyton for that. I don't know. It's good. It's all good stuff. Last shot is Jonathan, who we had seen before. This was the guy that called Josie. So you get that really cool pan over and ominous music on that guy.
Love I agree. Love the barbershop quartet in the background. I too was looking in the background to see if there were more of them, because you had mentioned that they're kind of a running theme of conventions happening at the Great Northern. But yeah, that's great. I absolutely love the relationship between the two of them. When Albert says, has anyone seen Bob on Earth in the last few weeks? And Cooper's reply of no, not yet, is just so unperturbed, not like taking it as an insult and just being like, yeah, no, it's going to happen at some point, but nope, not yet. I just like that.
Right. It's like that back and forth too with them. Albert is annoying to Cooper because he's so abrupt and mean or whatever. But there's the flip of that, which is Cooper's, always throwing rocks at things. So it's sort of like they both put up with each other to a certain point.
And I feel like Cooper would be much better at putting up with Albert when Albert's doing that sort of gruff abrasiveness to Cooper directly, as opposed to if he was doing this to Harry or Andy or other people. I think Cooper would be much more protective of them. We've seen him in that case. But when it's just the two of them, I don't think he takes that as any offense at all and just kind of goes with it. But Eric, elsewhere in town, Donna begins her new duties as a Meals on Wheels delivery driver, and she has a conversation with Mrs. Tremond and her grandson about creamed corn, and then visits Laura's old friend, Mr. Smith, next door.
This is the good stuff. You just this is like huffing a bag of Mrs. Tremont behind the abandoned grocery store and just going to town. This is like, I'll take this stuff right in my veins. I love Mrs. Tremont. I love Pierre. There's so much weight to these two, and yet this is the only appearance that they have in the entire TV series. Now, they're a much bigger part of Fire Walk with Me, but it's one scene. And even before Fire Walk with Me came out, when I think about Twin Peaks, I think about these two. Now, Mrs. Tremont, she's played by Frances Bay, who worked with David Lynch in Blue Velvet. You'll see her in Happy Gilmore. She's been in a ton of stuff. She's a fantastic actress. And little Pierre Tremond, he's played by Austin Lynch. So you've got David Lynch's son being in this episode. You've got his daughter writing The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer. You've got Warren Frost. You've got Mark Frost. You've got his brother, Scott Frost. You want a Mary Jo Deschanel? I'll give you a Caleb Deschanel. Like, everywhere you look, somebody's related to somebody else, and I absolutely love it. Let's talk about the names. I don't know if there's anything to the name Tremond, but we have, like, the dark woods, and we've got tree in the name. You've got Tremond. Even Laura Palmer is a type of tree. So you have, like, this weird dark wood energy coming from the Tremonds. You've got the way that Lynch shoots this. It's more of his like sort of static camera work. There's not a lot of movement that's coming in, but it's so meticulously framed with all of the tchotchkes and paintings and the stacks of newspapers. And, these are shut-ins, right? These are people that are not able to leave either for health reasons or otherwise. And it feels so cramped and musty. You can almost like smell the air and the newspaper print. And when we talk about the magic trick energy, like the creamed corn, do you see creamed corn on that plate? Yes. Do you see creamed corn on that plate? Bam, it's in little Pierre's hand, a little puddle of creamed corn for you. These are not normal people. These are not regular humans. You have to put them in the same entity list that you're going to put the giant, that you're going to put the man from another place, that you're going to put Mike. And whereas those beings or those entities we know are represented by some human counterpart in our world. Mike, represented by Philip Gerard. We've got the giant, where we have the waiter. We've got Bob and Mystery. We're trying to figure that out. And so this woman, Mrs. Tremont, her grandson, Pierre, could they also be represented by someone else? And I say that because if those other entities were, riding with or walking with or inhabiting the body or vessel of a living host, could they be in a deceased host? Because when she says the line,
They used to bring me hospital food. Imagine that.
and the coughing and the sickness of her, I see her as having passed away.
Oh.
Now, when we get to Fire Walk with Me, they're going to go by a different name. We'll revisit this theory there, and I'll have more evidence to suggest that they are sort of traveling entities that maybe inhabit the lives or the bodies of previous tenants. But just put that in your notebook. But yes, that line, when she says that line, that's immediately the thing I thought about was her being dead. If you look at the giant as being one of these entities and you accept that so is Mrs. Tremond, the giant is helping Cooper on his way. He's guiding him on a path. And what does Miss Tremont do here? you're going to want to talk to Harold Smith. He was Laura's friend. She's pushing her just as the Giant's sort of pushing Cooper. She has her own sort of machinations or her influence that she's sort of pushing. Whether she's a good force or a negative force or some neutral force, she's definitely up to something. And I find her kind of scary, I feel like. And when we get into what the meaning of the creamed corn will become, we had a creamed corn reference when Jupiter died in The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer. So it's sort of like a weird thing now. It's going to have more significance. People that have watched the show, specifically watch Fire Walk with Me, and The Return, it has a deeper meaning. So seeing him with that creamed corn, like, what is there? Is he looking to collect it? Like, what's going on there? And we got to talk about Pierre, a little drop of Lynch, a little Lynch, run off on the photocopy machine, his son, and who does a fantastic job.
Sometimes things can happen just like this.
When I see him in that like tuxedo, I can't help but think of Leland Palmer in the previous episode, May the Giant Be With You, when he's at the Hayward Supper Club, and he's in a very similar outfit. In a scene or two from now, when Leland sees and recognizes Bob.
I know him.
Excuse me?
My grandfather's summer house on Pearl Lakes. He lived right next door. I was just a little boy.
Oh, I know this guy. I met him when I was at my grandfather's summer home in Pearl Lakes. Now, if you go by the Twin Peaks Access Guide, which was an official guide that came out along with the diary and these tapes, I never had it. I never owned it. It's hundreds of dollars, but I have seen the map from it. So there is a map of Twin Peaks in which they put Harold's apartment or house to the east, right by Pearl Lake. It's like Pearl Lake Avenue or Pearl Lake Road. So that connection of the grandson in the same outfit as Leland. Now we're talking about these weird entities. We have this connection to Pearl Lakes. They live by Pearl Lakes. When I went with my grandfather by Pearl Lakes, like, is this some kind of representation of Leland? If you look up Mrs. Tremond, or you look up Harold Smith on like the wiki or whatever, like the, Twin Peaks.wiki or whatever, they show them as living in Lowtown, but I don't know where they get that from. So I've never seen that indicated anywhere. It doesn't say that in the diary. I don't think it ever says that in the show. I don't remember that ever being in Firewalk. I know, so I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I'm going to go by the official guide, which has them to the east near Pearl Lakes. It all lines up. So he's also studying magic, right? And so we know about a magician, the magician that longs to see. I have always thought, when I think about that poem, that it's Cooper, right? He's using his intuition. He's longing to see the truth. But could it be a reference to Pierre here? And j'ai un âme solitaire. I am a lonely soul. The delivery of that line is just spooky, and it's something you also probably want to write down. I don't know. I could go on and on. So you,
interesting. Yeah, I love the dream logic that you've got with all of that and connecting different disparate pieces and seeing the patterns repeat. They're definitely not what they seem, and that whether she's another spirit inhabiting a deceased person's body or just not quite of this world, definitely makes sense. The bit with the cream corn though is just such a wonderful touch. Her reaction of dismay when she looks at the meal and says, is that cream? Do you see cream corn on that plate? And the dialogue and the way that it's written, the repetition of words, cream corn, do you see cream corn on that plate? Yes. And then, do you see cream corn on the plate? No. And it's gone. And my grandson is studying magic. She has this look of like excitement on her face when she says that. And it's like, she's not saying what she actually means, is how I read it. It's like, maybe it's the closest translation of the thing that he's actually doing is the word magic, but there's something else going on. And he's just holding it there. And then in the next shot, his hands are empty. And Donna just smiles about all of this. There's no possible way this could have happened. And Donna's just like unfazed entirely by it. It's just a magic trick. He just pulled a quarter out of my ear, which is fine because there's also, again, this kind of dream logic where it makes sense at the time while you're in the dream. It's only looking back afterwards. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. My middle school teacher wasn't a shark, but in the time, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how it happened. So all of that is great. We're just in this little isolated cocoon that's a different world when we step into the Tremond's apartment. Speaking just briefly, though, the actor, like you said, playing Pierre, if you didn't know it was David Lynch, you knew it as soon as you saw him, is just a little David Lynch. Yeah. It's the most adorable and unsettling thing in the world. I absolutely love it. He does a great job. He's completely... you said the line delivery when he says,
she seemed like a very nice girl.
Oh my goodness! When she says she seemed like a very nice girl. That I also read as like maybe he's talking about she seemed like when we just met her, which is the literal meaning, or she seemed like she was a nice girl in the past. I just like that kind of interpretation because Donna's just becoming this different person. She's trying to become more and more like Laura. Even taking over her job and her boyfriend. So anyway, I just kind of like that a little bit. Mrs. Tremond just has so much going on with her face and so much that happens with just his expressions and his side looks. Whenever Donna leaves, she just has this very worried look on her face. So there's obviously just so much there beneath the surface that we just don't know about yet. And then we see Donna go over and try to, she knocks on the door, sees if Mr. Smith is home, leaves him a message, and we see that he's poking out, looking between the blinds, and walks away. But that entire scene, fantastic.
It's so great. And we remember him like from the diary clearly, but we also know he has the diary, even though Donna doesn't even know that diary exists. Nobody knows that diary exists except for you and I and the readers of the book.
I will say the very last thing, the hospital food reference. I didn't get to being a person in hospice who died. More, it was the running joke from the horrible hospital food from the previous episode. Thank you for bringing that back into this episode as well. You liked that gag. I did not. Speaking of hospitals, go to Calhoun Memorial Hospital and Cooper and Harry interview a barely conscious Ronette.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say here other than it's extremely funny. I find it very funny anyway. I don't know how you feel about how long it takes to adjust the seats, right, how loud the seats are, and how they're consciously trying not to wake or disturb Ronette, who's been through so much. That makes me just laugh.
It's a really funny comedy game. Like, this is the game. We're going to try to be quiet, and everything's going to go wrong, and it's going to take an excruciating amount of time. It's great.
I love it. And Kyle kills it again with showing a great job of a man acting because he's still in pain. This is only one day away from being shot. Two things real quick. That they show a sketch of Leo, I just find funny because it clearly could just show a picture of Leo. You know who Leo is. But I'm saying they got to equalize it because they're going to show an illustration of Bob. They're going to show an illustration of Leo.
That looks nothing like Leo.
It looks a little enough like Leo for me.
It looked nothing like Leo to me. In fact, what that called to mind for me was the first scene in the morgue. First scene in the morgue? Well, anyway, a previous scene in the morgue. Similar thing where we have the sketch and first he's showing it to Mike, right? And the first one is a sketch of just a random person, just to make sure that the person's not lying. And then you show the real sketch. I thought it was that again. To me, it looked nothing like Leo at all. And Ronette would have had a reaction, perhaps, to Leo. She knows who he is, and he wasn't not involved in all this. He wasn't Bob. He didn't do the final act that has traumatized her, but that did not look anything like him to me.
Yeah, I thought it looked enough like Leo. I was just making a joke because literally they know who it is. It's like you have a sketch when you don't have a photo of the person, but we have a photo of Leo, right?
Totally get. I know where you're coming from. I just don't. That did not read to me as Leo at all. If Andy did the sketch work, maybe he was just a one-shot wonder with his beautiful Bob sketch. But
yeah, well, he's got a good Bob, but maybe not such a great Leo. Bob. Harry's outfit also reminds me, and this is just Harry throughout, like that tan thing with the giant belt. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of like Luke Skywalker and Dagobah.
Don't do that.
I don't know. Every time he's like walking around, it's almost like a onesie. He's in like this big policeman's onesie with this big belt. just jumped out at me. I don't know. Sound design is fantastic when Ronette comes to, and the smashing glass, like the slow down vocals, it's all great.
Yeah, it's almost like a growling in the sound mix. It's fantastic whenever she wakes up and she's thrashing. It's terrifying. She hits the glass and there's just that low grumble in the background. It's great. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say there except, the actress playing Ronette, the grogginess, an inability to focus, and then, stuttering, trying to say train, and Cooper, trying to coax that out of her.
Yeah. There's a fire? Where's the fire?
Who's trapped in the well? It's just a great setup for what comes later with Bob. This is just making everything ominous and just setting this tone that pays off in spades towards the end. Love it. Heading on over to Ben's office, he and Jerry sit by a fire and discuss how best to keep that fire burning.
Smoked cheese pig. I mentioned this smoked freaking cheese pig all the way back in Zen. Been waiting for that smoked cheese pig. I think it's Gouda. I think it's
It looks
Gouda
delicious.
cheese.
Yeah. Looks like beautiful.
Am I going to mention Ben near the fire? Yes. Talking about fire, near fire, cooking things on fire. Yeah, it's just like, we get all the business and dilemma about the ledger. Which one are they going to burn? Rehash a lot of the stuff about their dealings. It's just a funny scene, but where are those hickory sticks? I don't have much more than it just rehashes the plan.
Yeah, I was wondering what your reaction to pulling out the marshmallow.
Oh.
Man, where are the hickory sticks? Yeah, it must be like, oh, Eric must love this so much.
Those guys in food, man, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun scene. If you like the two of them and their relationship and their, bonkers sort of conversations, this is a good one. But yeah, not a whole lot else happens there.
And I guess their plan is to resell the mill as well. Like, so their plans are to flip it. So I guess not a lot of it was, only a portion of it was burned in the fire.
Well, let's see. We can head on over to the Double R. Andy's in a sticky situation. Sorry about that. And Margaret and Major Briggs have a conversation.
God, Andy is such a disaster. This is like my Andy. Like you were talking last week or last 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
About like Andy just being like a caricature or like a cartoonishly dumb person. And in my head, I'm like just thinking of this scene with the tape everywhere and this just monster thing. I love it. I think it's just such a funny image. So this is sort of my Andy. Is this Andy? The Andy hating himself. I'm a whole damn town. Like all of that stuff. The big part for this, for me, no surprise, is Major Briggs. And just, yes. I love him so much. Don Davis never ceases to impress me. I like how he's just sort of looking over at Andy, sort of a little bit of smiling in the beginning as he's doing that. But I feel like there's a subconscious part of him that is waiting for Margaret to come so that they can have this conversation. Whether he's aware of it or not, it's sort of there, and I feel it. This is also like a nice scene with Norma and the log lady and Margaret, and it's like a nice end to, like we talked about that last time with the pitch gum and putting it there, and here she is sort of correcting her and giving her the business, which I love it. I love all of it. I mean, I like how respectful and how he treats Margaret with sincerity, Major Briggs, when they have their conversation. There's no looking down on her. He's taking her seriously. He's taking the log seriously. Like, it's such a great scene. I love it.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I think this is perfectly in line with how we see Major Briggs. He just is a genuine person. He takes people at face value. He treats people with respect because that's how he expects to be treated. He's just fantastic in that way. When she says to him, "You wear shiny objects on your chest. Are you proud?"
No, achievement is its own reward. Pride obscures it. Cream?
It's just a perfect example of him. And when she does say, like, I love when she says, "Can you hear my log? I don't believe we've been introduced. I do not introduce the log. Can you hear it?" So Margaret, the log lady, knows that Major Briggs is special. In her mind, anyway. She half expects that he actually could hear the log, where I don't think she would ask that of, say, Shelley or someone else in the diner. But Major Briggs, he might be on the right frequency to hear the log. And when she says to him,
Deliver The message. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I do.
It's just fantastic. He's just down with the supernatural. I feel like he's a guy that doesn't suffer fools, but he's going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not a fool at first. So great scene between them.
It ends really nicely, too, with how much he enjoys that gum of hers, that pitch gum.
Oh, she sure does.
He really does go to town on it.
Meanwhile, at the sheriff's office, Andy tells Lucy something he learned while he was performing his civic duty. Harry does his parole check-in with Hank, and Ben calls to let them know that Audrey is missing.
This fly is so loud.
It is comically loud.
The fly is so freaking loud. The big thing here is I mentioned this back, I think the last evening, that we were going to figure out why Andy left that little supply closet with the sliding door in a huff when he found out that Lucy was pregnant. Now you're going to find out that he thought it just meant he couldn't take a bath. That he's sterile.
He's sterile. Yeah.
So check. Why is Andy mad about and furious? Check. Why is Lucy mad at Andy?
Still no idea. No idea.
She's kind of a huge jerk to Andy, in my opinion.
I totally agree. I don't want to jump over the several jokes in Andy's little.
That he has tape on his head. Yeah, you can. The jokes are very funny. Yes, throw them at me. I don't have anything else other than that he has tape on his head when he's trying to stand up for himself, and he's even in his moment of trying to be right, he looks like a doofus with the tape on his head. But go.
She leans in to pull the tape off his head and close it. He leans in for the kiss, even after saying like basically insinuating who else were you sleeping with? But he leans in for a kiss anyway.
Well, we will have an answer to that at some point.
But I just he says. That the Tacoma Sperm Bank was looking for donors. Naturally, I applied. It's my civic duty, and I like whales. Like sperm whales?
Yeah, that's it. That's the joke.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great joke. It's great. And then the physical examination revealed he's sterile. Sure. I thought it meant I didn't have to take the baths, but the doctors told me the truth.
Which also means that maybe he's not taking baths as well. So it's like...
maybe... No, God, I hope that's not the case. But I love that it's like, as anyone would think that sterile means you have to take a bath, but they told him the actual truth because they're doctors. It's just wonderful. But you also tempered with the jokes that he doesn't know are jokes and the tape fingers and the cartoony behavior. We also get the heart because while Lucy is trying to track down the fly, he's pacing back and forth in front of the sheriff's office, trying to figure out how he's going to have this difficult conversation with her. So you get all of that. You get the comedy and the heart with Andy, which I think is the best combination of the two.
Hello, it's Eric. Welcome to the midpoint. You didn't realize there'd be a midpoint, but here we are at the midpoint. Just want to take a minute and say thank you to a couple of Black Lodge members that have joined us in the Red Room. I'm talking about Greg Flanagan and Chuck Suffel and Dawn Adamo. I may want all my Garmonbosia, but you will have my heart forever. How did they get here? How did they get a shout out like this? Because they have joined our Patreon, which is available right now, where you can get access to some secret podcasts like The Pink Room. We're going to have a movie club launching next month with Club Silencio. The first movie that we're going to be doing is Wild at Heart. So if you want to hear me talk about Wild at Heart, you just have to put a couple dollars down. We have 3 tiers, paid tiers. There's $1 a month, $3 a month, or $5 a month. If you do the $5 a month, you get your name read, just like those 3 wonderful people. It is free too. You can also join for free, and you should be able to use the chat and to communicate with all the members, and you can ask us questions, and we'll do Ask Me Anythings and whatever you want. It's an open community that I'm figuring out as we go. So that's it. So if you want to go and you want to support the show, go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile, and you should see a link for the Patreon there. All right, let's get back to the proper episode.
But meanwhile, over in Harry's office, he's doing a parole check-in with Hank, with Cooper.
This Christopher Mulkey is fantastic. He does such a good job of portraying someone that has like the outward expression of being a very unserious person. And you see it with the way that he acts with Harry. We saw it with the Horn brothers when he brings them in. He's like, oh, you guys. Like, he has this unserious demeanor that is couched with a menacing figure underneath that he holds in check. But you see it. Like, you see it in the character, and he's so good at it. Actor's fantastic. I like the bit, about the history of Harry and Hank, that he at one point was a bookhouse boy. So I had been hinting a little bit about that, and now we're getting more of that story and more. And they grew up together, right? So they've been friends since they were kids. And Hank broke bad, and Harry became the sheriff of the town. So it's just very cool to see that a couple more levels of Hank. The other bit that I have left on here, well, actually I have two things. One thing is when freaking Lucy takes the call, and just a joke about transferring Ben Horn.
Would you like me to transfer him to you? Well, not him, but his phone call?
Just that bit was very funny.
Yeah.
Audrey is missing. Like, he's so nonchalant, Ben. He's drinking wine. She's been gone since Thursday, which
2
was
days, he says.
2 days. So she's been gone Thursday. Should not be lost on anyone. That is a week to the day that Laura was murdered.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting there drinking wine, and I swear in the background you hear the crackling of fire.
Harry, Audrey's missing.
What?
For as much as maybe 2 days.
You hold on.
He's in his office. You can hear the crackling. Later on, we're going to see in the next scene when Jerry comes in, the sound is not there, but there's a fireplace there. So I think it is intentionally in the audio mix of crackling fire. I don't know what else it could be. To me, it sounds like that's what it is.
Great call on the way that you described Hank and his veneer of a guy who doesn't take it seriously or take anything seriously, signs the parole paper with just a giant capital H period on it. But the information drop that he used to be a bookhouse boy, one of the best, is really gives you a lot more background on this guy. Like, what happened to him? How could he go from that, secret society protector of Twin Peaks to this guy's kind of destroying it from the inside?
What's interesting, like when you think about Hank growing up with Harry, is you start to paint like the old guard in high school, in Twin Peaks High. So you've got like Norma, who's dating Ed, and then you've got Hank, and you've got Harry. And you imagine they're all going to the same high school.
Of course.
And thank God the show was made in the 90s when everything wasn't freaking franchises. Because if this came out now on like Netflix, you would have signed away something and there'd be the young, like they'd reboot it with the younger, it'd be like a young Hank, like in high school, whatever. So we dodged a bullet on that one. They would have exploited this to no end. But I like to think about that and what that would have been like.
Well, I think we just found out what your next comic book series is.
Never with it.
The Adventures of Young Hank.
Yeah. Maybe Young Hank.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And again, like you said, not much else to say about Ben except holy crap. It's been 2 days his daughter's missing.
And we said this is Saturday, right? So Thursday is the last evening. Friday was A Giant Be With You. We saw Ben on Friday. Have you seen Audrey? And then goes back to his, like, he has the thought, but takes an extra day before he calls in.
Surprisingly, he even called in, and I don't remember what happens next, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been some, cog in his wheel for this great scheme of things that he's doing. She's not his daughter so much as, a thing to be used. It's just...
Yeah, we'll see.
If I haven't mentioned, he's not a good guy.
He's not, yeah.
But anyway, he's not a good guy. But as we cut back over into Ben's office after that phone call, Jerry, and Leland strategize about how to deal with the Icelanders after the mill fire. And Leland has a spark of...
Yeah, Leland fucks up here real bad. And this goes into what I mentioned the last time. My take anyway, was that Leland is a nuisance to them, and Leland is a joke. And now Leland's messing with their money. Like, he's not their friend. They want to delegate him to doing something like their taxes. Right. Obviously, you already touched on it. The big standout moment is that he recognizes Bob. So we have a new person that recognizes Bob, the entity of Bob, and he knows him. So him, just like his wife and Cooper, and later in this episode, Maddie, have seen him. And this is where he mentions his grandfather's summer house on Pearl Lakes. We talked about Pearl Lakes. It's where Jock's cabin is. It's where the log lady lives. It's where Laura met Bob in the woods in the diary. So this is a special place, Pearl Lakes. And this is where he, as a child, saw Bob. And then I mentioned the thing with Mrs. Tremond and, you know, this is my grandson and we're talking about a grandfather. So is there something there? Is there not something there? It's just very cool.
I don't have much else to say about this. I mean, Leland thinks he's... I don't know like what's going on in his broken brain, but he's the one that told the Icelanders about the mill fire and then comes in and says that they have to do something to like seize the moment before they... Like he set the wheels in motion and then comes on over there to try to help them fix it, I guess.
Yeah, he's trying to do the right thing. He's just going about in the wrong way. And so in whatever... He may have called and said like, "Hey, there was a fire, but we're going to organize a meeting where I'm going to get, you know, it could have been something like that." And he just let it out of the bag.
Yeah, not that he was trying to sabotage anything. He has a broken brain right now, to the point where Ben says to Jerry,
"Yeah,
kill Leland." And then Jerry has this line, which is great. Is this real, Ben, or some strange and twisted dream?
But in a show where someone has been murdered, please kill him. Like, do you take that seriously? Is that just a joke? Like, you don't really know.
Well, yeah, more than one person. Several people have been killed. Several people have been shot.
Oh, yeah. If you forget about Jock, literally.
People have been kidnapped. I mean, yeah, any of this could happen for sure. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Doc Hayward reviews Leo's prognosis with Shelley.
Shelley has to face her abuser, and what a hard scene, or what a hard moment for her to get through. I love the way this shot is composed, especially where you've got Leo lying down and his face in that circle mirror is just fantastic. Doc does not answer Shelley, by the way, when she says about him being a vegetable. He sort of lets that question go. But you get to see, you know, the gentleness of Doc Hayward, the way he consoles her. She doesn't have a father that we're made aware of, and she at that point that he's consoling her, Norma's down there waiting for her. So that's her family. That's her sort of mother figure, you know, whatever. And here's it's just a very sweet moment. I always feel just so bad for Shelley and all the stuff that she has to deal with constantly. And obviously that zoom in on Leo's eyes opening, which is something he's not completely shut down, or maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who knows what's going on? And that's going to play into the scene later with Bobby and what he's going to try to get her to do.
No, I totally agree. This is a great scene. Doc Hayward's bedside manner, he's just a pro. And Shelley, I think she's playing a couple different things at once in this, which is really terrific. I think she's actually genuinely worried for him, but also genuinely worried that he's not going to die. So she's got all that going. She's outwardly saying everything she says, for the most part, could be right in both ways, but it's very on the surface. She's a concerned spouse. So if Leo is waking up, or if he is hearing all this, she's not really tipping her hand too much, though. But, you know, he tried to burn her alive. Then we get a quick little switcheroo over to the sheriff's office where Lucy gets a mystery phone call.
I only have one note. Who is this mystery caller?
Who could it possibly be?
I really don't know. I don't know.
Oh, really? I thought you were being facetious.
I don't know. I never knew.
It's Wyndham Earle.
Is it?
It's Wyndham Earle. Yeah.
Could be Wyndham Earle, but that's not Wyndham Earle's style. Wyndham Earle's a master chess player that does these crazy stuff in the future.
I thought it was a bit more of taunting. I thought there was something here where he's going to start taunting.
If it was Wyndham Earle, he would say something that Cooper would know to fuck with Cooper's head. He's not doing any of that. So it's not Wyndham Earle's style.
It's the only thing, I mean, because they set him up earlier, there's no other... I guess is there one other mention of Wyndham? Yeah, at the end when Cooper's talking to Diane, but like there's no other mentions. That's why it's like they planted it earlier. There must be some callback to it. But it felt like a little menacing. Like you could imagine him doing a needling that way. It
could literally be writing a script and putting something in there that maybe you're going to pick up later and you don't.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility with this show, especially. There could have been threads that never got.
But to this day, I don't know. I couldn't tell you who it was. I don't believe it. It would be Wyndham Earle based on what you see Wyndham Earle do.
What you know of him later. Yeah. Over at One Eye Jack, Audrey tells Emery a fairy tale in exchange for some information.
All right, we get continuing the fairy tale motif I mentioned before. Like, obviously now Audrey is assuming the role of Red Riding Hood. she inquires about her dad. She confirms things she already knew. We do get like the other side of Laura's time at One-Eyed Jack's. We remember it from the diary where she was doing cocaine there and she gets kicked out because she has that thing with Blackie where she takes her to the edge and leaves her for dead. I'm already trying to get what I want. That's pretty much establishes her entire personality up until this point. I love when Emery Battis says Laura always got her way just like you. Like, Laura's dead. She's trapped in One-Eyed Jack's. She's been gone since, a week later after Laura died. Love all that stuff. Couple of behind the scenes stuff. The woman that's doing the vacuum mistress, is Jula Bell. She worked in the art department. She also was the art director for the Log Lady intros, and she's a musician in Bulimia, Banquet, and a bunch of other bands. It was like early Riot Girl. Stuff. I think she's an animator as well, or she was an animator. So just cool that they just take people from the, obviously Bob Frank Silva was a set dresser.
She doesn't say a word, but she is a character that you remember. So like she has such charisma and presence that you'll remember her. Yeah. Even though she didn't say a word and she was on screen for maybe 30 seconds. She was great. The
other actress is Jill Pierce. That's the Ice Girl. I don't know anything about Jill Pierce, but I did know who.
You don't know which band she was in?
Yeah, I don't know if she was also in the, she was in Flipper. No, it reminds me so much too of like this vacuum mistress. If you've watched The Sopranos, I don't know if you watched The Sopranos, Dr. Mop and Glow.
Go see if Dr. Mop and Glow is still here.
What do you mean, Dr. Mop and Glow? Who?
Don't worry, he's a real doctor. Dermatologist.
Excuse me. There's a scene, they're in a brothel, and then they're like, get the doctor, and then Dr. Mop and Glow, it's like a doctor, and he's got no shirt on, he's got rubber gloves, he's got his like hair done up in like a, cleaning lady thing, and anyway, that's Dr. Mop and Glow. Reminds me very much of this. All the vacuuming and the painted, like all the what's the word that I'm looking for that?
His kinks?
His kinks, yeah, like all of those things, and like the motherhood thing or whatever he's got it going.
The blindfold, the ice cubes, Frosty, my Frosty.
Frosty, my little snowman.
My little snowman. I mean, it's great. We get a real glimpse into his id. It's fantastic.
The vacuum is such a nice touch.
The vacuum's a great touch. It really is evocative. It's really good. I just wanted to clarify something based on like what we read in Laura's diary, and you were mentioning that here. Emery says that Laura was at One-Eyed Jack's for 1 weekend. 1 weekend she was using drugs. We threw her out and never saw her again. That's not the sense I got from the secret diary.
Time is very tight in the diary.
Yeah, it just felt like 1 weekend to go from showing up there to what she does with Blackie just feels like a lot. Emery could be lying, who knows, or misremembering, or Laura is an unreliable narrator in her diary, which is fine. But like,
well, right, and there's a lot of things within the diary and the show that we talked about. Donna acts like she never met Maddie before, and
absolutely. So, but just to call out that.
All right, August 31st is her commenting about just being put into One-Eyed Jack's. I'm going to tell the world. Okay, October 5th, 1989. She's there from August 31st. Or roughly around to October 5th. So clearly more than a weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So about a week. Not too far off. And again, like the discrepancies between the two, that's totally fine. It just, when he said that, I was like, that doesn't seem right. It only jumped out to me because we had just read the book.
If they had said a week, maybe that would be more
that would have,
accurate.
I wouldn't, my head wouldn't have turned if he said a week. But next we head off to hang out with Bobby and Shelley as they discuss their future plans for Leo. Like you mentioned.
I love that the radio station just plays these bangers. It's like you got Audrey's dance going on. Bobby's not a fan apparently. But I like what he also turns into. I love the music that they're getting into. Now Bobby, of course, is being a jerk here. He's just trying to get money out of Leo at the expense of Shelley, talking her out of testifying, putting her in danger.
Is that how you read it? That he's using her in this case?
I think he's, I think he, sure. Like, I think he's, not that he's, when you say he's using her, like, he loves her. He has genuine affection for her. She has genuine affection for him. But sometimes when people are together, you make bad decisions based on, because he's seeing dollar signs and he's like, oh my God, we can make all this money. Because he says, I called the insurance company and all we need to do is have Leo out of prison and we're going to get this $5,000 check. So he's weighing that against her safety. She lived with this guy, this abusive guy, and he's willing to sort of put that aside because she says, I don't want him in the house. Like, I don't want to live with him. And he's like, hey, no, come on. It's great. That's blah, blah, blah. So yes, I think he's using her in that sense, but, not like, oh, I'm going to take advantage. Like, he doesn't consciously know that he's taking advantage of her, but that's what people do. Like, no one knows they're a villain or no one knows they're doing a bad thing. But yeah, he should put Shelley above. Maybe I'm just too idealistic, but yeah, that's
no. I just wanted you to elaborate on that. I totally agree.
But they want to get comfortable, and he's got his dad's Continental, so so much sexual dynamism between these two, eating each other up, and promise and all that stuff. It's hot in Twin Peaks.
It's so hot.
I don't know. What was your take?
No, that was it. I also liked that Audrey's Dance, which is also called Freshly Squeezed, is the name of the song.
Oh, was it Freshly Squeezed? Those are two different songs. So
they sound the same to me.
Maybe it was.
When
Freshly
I was looking
Squeezed.
at it, it came up as either or, Audrey's Dance or
Freshly Squeezed is the song that plays when she walks up and he talks about the grapefruit juice. And the one where she's dancing that's very dreamy
in the diner.
In the diner is Audrey's Dance.
Okay. But they sound to me like, unless you play them back to back, I wouldn't probably be able to pick one from the other. But I do love that it is diegetic. It is on the radio. They have that other song on the jukebox. This is just like Angelo Badalamenti is topping the charts everywhere in Twin Peaks.
He is the best.
It's pretty great. In his room at the Great Northern, Cooper tells Diane about his old partner and Audrey's disappearance. And Major Briggs pays him a visit to deliver a message.
Well, first off, we're reminded of the note under the bed. It's just a reminder of, which is interesting, right? Because the giant told Cooper, you forgot something. And here's the giant literally delivering a message via the major. And we're reminded again that even though it had a different word on the front of it in one episode in the last evening, and then it had a different thing written on it in May the Giant Be With You, and then it was on a table, and now it's under a bed. Doesn't matter. It's moving around.
It's a magical note.
It's a magical note. But yeah, he's got to get that note. That note is going to tell him whatever Audrey was trying to tell him. So this is just Cooper thinking about Audrey. How long I've been talking about this romance. He's falling in love at this point.
Audrey's absence touches me in ways I could not predict. I find myself thinking not of clues or of evidence, but of the content of her smile.
Commenting on now he's not thinking of police work. He's thinking of, Audrey in ways beyond police work. He's thinking about the contents of her smile. And
what a line. Oh, that guy.
I love how confused also, it's just a very small note about how Cooper can't understand why Briggs is even showing up. He's like knocking on the door. He's like, who's there? It's Baby Briggs. He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And we get our second clue is now paying off. The owls are not what they seem. As we discussed prior, we theorized prior that these owls are people, right? I think I mentioned this. I know I mentioned this in a previous episode, how I missed it. Like, we did the diary, a giant owl, and we have a giant here, but yes. So I don't know. That's just great moment. Cooper, space garbage, all that stuff is just so cool.
Yeah. So in this scene, we do get this a little bit more information about Major Briggs. Bobby asked his dad, "What do you do?" And he says it's classified. Can't tell him.
Yeah. Now you learn a little bit more about space stuff.
Now a little bit. I may reveal this much. Among my many tasks is the maintenance of deep space monitors aimed at galaxies beyond our own. I think it's just fantastic. And the printout that we have, it's fantastic. and Briggs following through with what the log lady told him to do. I do also like the moment of just, he explains to Cooper how seriously he takes his oath, and the camaraderie, or the two of them saying, Cooper says, as a member of the federal government, he understands that. I think that's great.
Yeah, there's such reverence for the federal government with the writers of Twin Peaks. That's great. And yeah, that mutual respect for...
As expressed to these characters are also virtuous and pure from what we can tell. Everyone's got different sides, but these representations of them. Why wouldn't you trust the federal government when you have these two there?
In the constantly making this about me, the connections between like my father and Major Briggs. So my father also worked in security intelligence, counterintelligence, did a bunch of classified stuff. So I found his old ID, which you can't see because this is an audio podcast, Security Intelligence Directorate, whatever thing on here. And it says like for his cleared for access up to and including top secret. Sure, I've heard of that. Cosmic what is that? Cosmic TS. I'm not sure what that is, but it's Major Briggs. He's
Cosmic top secret? What?
Cosmic.
Your dad was Major Briggs. You are Bobby Briggs.
If you do the math, I think my dad was opening portals and wormholes into different places. But that's cool. So I get Cosmic TS, which I guess is top secret.
I did not know that Twin Peaks was based on true story.
Yeah, but that's cool. I honestly, and just the sound of the delivery.
The readout took us by surprise. Row after row of gibberish, and all of a sudden, the owls are not what they seem.
The owls are not what they seem. Cooper. And oh my God, how cool is that? Now, as a kid, so we were trying to figure out what the owls are not what they seem, blah, blah, blah. We see the man with the smiling bag. Now the owls are not what they seem, is like that second clue. So if there's 3 clues without chemicals he points, that's the third one. It just feels like we are really moving quickly towards a solution to this thing.
Barreling along.
In a world where we know Frost and Lynch don't want to resolve that. So it's just interesting to think, like, where do they go, like, when those giant clues, like, if not to where I know they go, like, what was the plan? Obviously, we're going to do into a Wyndham Earl thing, but everything is just moving so fast, because here we are already on that second clue. Hey friends, it's Eric from the future. Jumping in here because at the time that I'm talking about this, I'm bringing up that Lynch and Frost did not want to reveal the killer, yet it seems so likely that we're moving at such breakneck speed towards that resolution. We found out some more information about it. So I read a excellent interview with Bob Engels that was conducted by Andrew Graves. I hope I'm getting your name right, Andrew. It's on a long since defunct website called 25yearslater.com, but to get this interview, you got to go through the Wayback Machine and put in the link because the site is long since gone. But it's an excellent interview with Bob Engels. And according to Bob Engels, part of the season 2 renewal agreement was to reveal the killer. So once they knew they were doing season 2, they knew first half of season 2, we were going to resolve that mystery. So as much as they didn't want to do it, certainly the script starting from episode 1, May the Giant Be With You, to just now we're doing Coma, they clearly knew they were resolving it quickly, so it wasn't a matter of it getting thrown into their lap later in the season. They already knew at this point. So, yeah. So, hey, that's now you know what I know.
Over at the Hayward's house, James croons a chart-topping single with Donna and Maddie. Harold Smith calls, and Maddie has a vision.
Well, before we even get to the elephant in the room, this scene. The scene is very, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how you're going to feel about this scene. I know how I feel about things.
I think you have an idea how I feel about parts of the scene.
I think I have an idea about how you feel about the scene, but I'm curious to know if I'm wrong.
Okay.
First off, why is James parked on the sidewalk?
Wait, was he?
Yeah, you see the shot of the Hayward house, and his motorcycle's on the sidewalk.
That is not how you do it. That's not a gentlemanly thing.
Come on, that's not how a bookhouse boy parks his motorcycle, his big boy motorcycle. Anyway, I love this song. I love this jam.
That was really good. Let's try it again.
I know it comes out of left field. I like that James introduces it with, "That was great. Let's try it again." So how many times have they been playing this? Are they recording it, or is it just for fun?
I don't think they're recording it.
I didn't see anything that's recording it. I'm gonna pretend they're gonna drop a demo. They got like a 4-track somewhere. They're gonna drop their mixtape. Just you. I love it. Well, it's tough for me because I've talked about how I'm not a huge Donna fan, I think, in the past. I know you're a Donna fan, so I don't mean to step on. Okay. She's your fave, or one of your faves.
She's not my fave. Not my fave.
But these are sort of where I start to really get annoyed with her, only with the way she acts, like when she runs off and she does her stuff.
Donna, what's going on?
I'm trembling, James. You made me.
But this whole song and the music and the fact that it's just you and I with 3 people there, and like how great that is. And I love all of the dynamics that are happening. We're watching, again, Donna become more like Laura, and therefore Maddie is becoming the way Donna was with Laura and James, right? She's this person that's kind of looking over at James, and then James is sort of noticing her, and like Donna can't win. She's the one that's in 3rd place, and now she's put herself into the Laura position, and now she's losing again, and like all of that stress that's on her. Anyway, I just like it. I like this scene. A lot of people don't like it. I think that maybe you would hate it, but I don't know. Maybe you like it.
Okay. Don't love the song just because it's not really... The vocal is very interesting. It definitely reminds me of, for me, just my Venn diagram of interest. It sounds like Rocky Horror Picture Show, that... Brad and Janet song. It just I like that vocal treatment's great. It is the strangest setup that they're just sitting there in the living room, James sitting in the chair and the 2 of them on the floor just rehearsing for the big show. I don't know what they're doing, but they're just playing music, man.
They're just playing music, man, because music is great and the vocals are haunting, and I like the song. I do like the song, and I like the production.
I like it in that I appreciate it. It's not a song I would put on, but I appreciate the song. So I don't have a problem with it. I love what's going on visually, though, with you and I, Donna and James looking at each other and singing to each other, and Maddie keeps glancing, and then finally she catches his eye, and then now James is staring at Maddie, and then Donna catches them and then acts like a teenager and gets jealous or runs away.
Right. And when James looks at you, it's serious, man.
Oh, you will melt.
He's looking right at you and not blinking. And you're like locked in that.
It did get a little bit creepy, the way that he was, the unblinking stare that he just held for so long at Maddie.
He's a serious guy. I'm okay with James. I'm trembling.
So that whole thing, again, is the same thing as when she went to the jail and saw him and was like aggressively trying to be possessive of him through her affection. Does the same thing here and grabs him, and he knows that something's off with that. Luckily, though, it gets interrupted with a phone call from Mr. Smith.
Oh, Howard Smith calls. And we don't hear his side of the conversation. Nope. But she says, "I received yours," which implies Harold was the one most likely to have sent that look into the Meals on Wheels note that Donna had gotten in the Double R. If you remember when she was with Maddie and they were doing the great sunglass trade-off of
yes, they were.
1990. That's it. I mean, that bit, I mean, the big thing is the scariest thing ever.
So the 2 of them are off in the hallway.
Yeah.
She's talking to Harold Smith. James is kind of hanging out there.
Oh, God.
Is this the scariest thing in all of Twin Peaks for me? Maybe. For me, to this point, for sure.
It's the scariest thing until about 20 minutes.
But I guess no, like this is just terrifying because the juxtaposition of this malevolent force of Bob in their home, just coming out of the kitchen, the way that he's staring into the camera. This is just beautiful camera work. Just stays still right there, and he just climbs over everything, and almost as though he's gonna like the Ring come right out of your TV and into your living room is great.
The way the camera is positioned with whatever lens they used, as he gets closer, it's so tight. And but what you said, he looks like he's coming out of the television.
Yes.
And I don't know how. I don't know enough about filmmaking to know how they got it to look like that, but it is fantastic. And to your point, she's not at home, and Bob's found her, right? Maddie is now being tormented by Bob. He's coming for her. She saw blood on the carpet in her aunt's home, and now she's out at her friends, and here comes freaking this one of the scariest things you'll ever see coming at her. So many people now have seen Maddie's seen Bob, Cooper's seen Bob, Leland's seen Bob, Sarah's seen Bob, Ronette's seen Bob, but his true face, or both faces really, because she reacted to the picture. So it's getting serious with Bob.
Yeah, I think he might have a big part in all this, but I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, big player.
But yeah, I find this scene to be scarier even than the flashbacks of the train car, the actual night of. Like, this is... No, to me, just because of...
Sure, I mean, everyone's different.
No, everyone's the same, in my opinion, is the one that matters. But it's like I said, it's the scary craziness in this very normal domestic setting. That's the part that really just bugs me out. I love it. It's great.
There really isn't a thing with Bob where you're not like freaked out.
This is true. This is...
You know?
Just Bob at home on a lazy night, just drinking tea.
Right. The end of the previous episode, I mean, that is like still probably my scariest thing, but this is certainly close second. But why are we even ranking things?
I don't know, man. We got to rank everything. Also, we're going to rank all the episodes of Twin Peaks and everyone's dialogue. Moving on from here, in Dreamland, Cooper thinks more about the messages he was given, and Audrey's about to learn what trouble really is.
So now we're going to get into Cooper's sort of Dreamland thing, and he's thinking about what the giant told him. We're seeing visions of the giant. We're seeing this giant owl. That this to me is one of the scariest sequences. You talked about coming over the couch. First off, it's like it's the show revealing itself to itself, right? So you have this obfuscated, blurred out presence because we know Bob is here, but we can't see him.
Yeah.
Like, and he's coming at us.
Yeah.
And until you focus on who this person is and find him and stop him, I will kill again. He's going to get you with his death bag, and he's coming. And the way Frank Silva's walking and like the motions that he's doing and the facial contortions and like the laughing, and he looks like he's chewing on gum. Maybe it's the gum you like that's going to come back in style. Like, that is so unnerving. I find this, and the couch thing is fucking freaks me out. And even the end, like this thing, I remember having just like, I couldn't get this vision out of my head.
Yeah.
That blurred look, and just the way his shoulders, like, it's unnatural.
Yes.
It's not like a guy, okay, act like a scary person. It's like something you've never seen before that just makes you feel uneasy. And if you've ever seen Frank Silva in any interviews, you couldn't find a nicer, more gentle, funny guy ever. Like, seems like his personality was the exact opposite of Bob. Whatever magic that they conjured together, he is one of the scariest presences put on film or videotape or whatever. And this, oh my God, I absolutely love it. I love it.
Agreed.
So perfect.
When we open this scene, Cooper's laying there in bed. He's got his arm over his face and he's sleeping. We see the giant's hand in front of him again. Mm-hmm. That's not a flashback. That's the giant is there, right?
I think it's just, here's another stuff coming at your head. Now you're going to see an owl over Bob's face. The owls are not what they seem. We're going to hear that.
I love that shot. I mean, so the previous scariest thing is, that jump scare shot of Bob crouching behind Laura's bed. Mm-hmm. Now taking that and superimposing the owl on top of it just gives it another level of it. It's just, these beautiful visions that we have. It's beautiful, terrifying, but like
yeah,
the composition of it, it's great. It's not like the most advanced technical effect in the world. It is just so effective. It's incredible. But yeah, I felt the same way. We have Bob so out of focus. All you can kind of see is the blur of a jean jacket on a black background, but the way he's moving, I felt the same way. It's just this predatory, like, I don't know, a beast coming through the jungle to get you. It's definitely one of that dream feeling of being chased and you can't quite see the thing that's coming at you. It's great. It is just beautifully done. And that laugh that he does at the end is just is craziness. So that's all great. So we get all these threads coming together, and Cooper is putting the pieces together in his mind, but he gets woken up by a phone call. And Audrey's saying, when she says to Cooper, "Why aren't you here?" Oh, that was so heartbreaking to me. There's something about that line, because it's almost, it makes me think of her delivering that prayer to Cooper, kind of maybe expecting that he'd hear it, or just being so desperate that she's just going to will this prayer out into the world that maybe her agent can come find her. And it's this almost like childlike belief or childlike faith in him. Like, why aren't you here? I saw you on the camera. It's
some of that, certainly, but also keep in mind that she did send him she's hoping that that is delivered.
That's right. And she references that she saw him on the camera and he looked like a movie star. And that, by this point, it's 2 days ago. And she's still, but poor, she's just... And the way they leave this, too, she doesn't know what trouble is with Blackie and Emery there. It is such a good cliffhanger that's not, this, it is not a supernatural, what's this thing that's happening? It is very real high stakes right now in the moment. Is great.
When that scene plays out, too, when she's like, "I saw you with your tuxedo, you look like a movie star." When you see it, because you don't see anyone with her, and you're like, "Oh, is she caught already?" And she can't, she's like doing one of those things where you're trying to say where I am without saying where I am kind of deal. Like, "I saw you, maybe he'll remember that he wore the tuxedo at the thing."
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Because you want to be like, "Just say where you are."
Yeah, that's what
Just say it. Just say, I'm at One-Eyed Jack.
Come pick me up.
But she doesn't have enough time, and then before you know, the phone's being hung up and she's caught. But she does get that out. So maybe Cooper will realize, "I saw you in a tuxedo," or maybe he'll find that note, and who knows what's in the note, right? I know what's in the note.
I think there's only one way to find out, and that would be to watch the next episode.
Next time on Meanwhile, we are doing The Man Behind the Glass, episode 10, or whatever.
Leo's in a coma, I know, it's serious. Sorry.
Leslie Linka Glatter is back behind the camera, so I'm looking forward to that, and it's going to be written by Robert Engels, so you're in for it. You're in for it.
Robert Englund?
Freddie Bob Engels, you know him.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Until then.
Yeah, we'll see you. So be good to each other. Thank you for listening to the Meanwhile podcast with Dan Johnson and Eric Grissom. If you would like to support the Meanwhile podcast, join our Patreon. It's available right now. You can sign up, and for just a few dollars a month, you can keep this show going, and you can get access to some exclusive podcasts and some secret stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. You can sign up by visiting ericgrissom.com/meanwhile. If you like our show, please consider rating and reviewing the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're hearing this now. Meanwhile is produced by Eric Grissom and Where's My Robots? The Meanwhile theme song is written and performed by Paul Finn and Evening Pines. If you want to let us know what you thought of the show, you can reach Dan at danjnj.com, both on the web and on Blue Sky. Eric can be found on Blue Sky at ericgrissom.com, which is also his website. It's also me, right? That's weird. We'll see you again, and in the meantime, be good.
Listen to the sounds.
Meanwhile.
Where's my robots, you know?
If you're enjoying the Meanwhile podcast, I just want to let you know that we have a Patreon where you can subscribe for just a couple of dollars a month. You can support us, you can support the show, you can make all this possible, and you can get access to our hidden podcasts. We've got a show called Pink Room, where Dan and I are talking about all sorts of Twin Peaks stuff, outside of the show, and there is also Club Silencio, where we'll discuss David Lynch films and who knows what else. It's going to be fun. It's a lot of fun. So you can go to ericgrissom.com/meanwhile and click on the Patreon link, or go directly to patreon.com and look for Twin Peaks Podcast. All right, let's get back to it.